every business needs structure, and most times when it's being discussed, they are usually industry standard words, professional words. Now, what happens to businesses in our localities? Those that were started just because the person needed income, the person needed to stay afloat, and then decided to go into this business. So a popular example, let's say the mama puts around us, where we get food and the likes. So what happens to businesses like that? When we're talking about structure, how do we help them understand what structure means, what we mean by structure? Because literally they're also a business, they're an entrepreneur. So does it mean because they are in the localities within our communities they do not deserve to have structure in place? No, of course not. So I'm going to focus on that today. Now, for businesses like this, they also have structure. Yes, every business needs structure. If not, you're just going to be walking around the clock, and at the end of the day, you would not be able to trace your productivity level, income, profitability. You can. A mama put is going into food business. Now, how do we create structure for such a business? For every business, you will always have cost of raw materials, cost of production, the cost you inquire to actually produce the final product, what you're selling, product or services, the amount you spend. In situations like this, what will be their raw materials? Their raw materials will be the food items, the raw rice, the pepper, salt, and the likes. So now, for such a business, they're selling rice, they're selling stew, which of course will require proteins. As a business, you must have suppliers if you're really serious about the business, because if you have suppliers that you use, it means to some extent you enjoy some perks. But if you just keep buying bits here and there, where are you going to get your profit from? These businesses, mama puts, they also have suppliers. I believe they will. Some people would get their items from my 12, which is like a big market, and have people they purchase from, which in the long run, due to the fact they've actually patronized them frequently, they will be enjoying some kind of discount or freebies. Now, for such a business, we need to make calculations of how many kg would you require to make so quarts, cooler quarts of rice. How many coolers are you selling a day? So what is the size of your cooler? If your cooler is 100 quarts, okay, fine. Do you sell two of that cooler in a day, or you sell just one? If you're selling just one, how many kg of rice gives you that exact full 100 quarts of cooler? Now, when you get that, now you know how much it costs for you to produce 100 quarts cooler of rice to sell. If it's 25 kg, you know how much you get. 25 kg, note that down. For the pepper, they sell in baskets at my 12. Okay, so what size of basket? For the tomatoes, if it's small baskets, medium baskets, you know, you actually dodo, and then your onions. Now, how many baskets do I buy for a week worth of sales? So if this is down, you know how much you purchase that, you write down that. Before we go further, if you want to create structure, you need to be able to do the work, because why you're putting in structure is so that it will help you save time, stress, and accountability, clarity. So that means for you to reduce your workload, you have to work to put in that process, and you have to do it yourself to be able to get that clarity. That being said, so this is like your planning stage. Now, to make a pot of stew, of course you have the usual pots you'll be using to cook. So to make that particular pot of stew, if that's the only thing you'll be using for the day, how many tomatoes, pepper, tatashe, rodo, and onion would you be blending together to make that pot of stew? Now you're going to package it. You get bags. When you purchase your basket of pepper, you bag them this way. If a basket of tomatoes is giving you 5 nylons of tomatoes, that basket of tatashe is also giving you 5, basket of rodo scotch bonnet is also giving you 5. You're aware now. Those are your inventory. You put that down each day. You wouldn't need to be on site for things to work. Now, for that day's meal, if you are not available, the employees or your workers are aware that they are to pick from the freezer or wherever you're keeping your inventory 1 bag of tomato, 1 bag of tatashe, 1 bag of rodo, and this portion of onion is what we are using for today's stew. Now, for the meat, most people go to abattoirs, and I'm aware that most mama puts actually go there and tell them they cut. It depends on the size and the amount you want to cut. So some of them cut per 15 naira. I'm talking about then. I'm not sure with this economy now. So they cut it. So you tell them how many you need. So now if you're getting 200 at once and then you get back and you bag them 50, 50, 50 in the freezer, and they know when they want to cook for this particular day, they take one bag of that also. Now it's easy for you to track what you're doing because they are aware of at least most of our major raw materials. 15 kg of rice, when you cook that, it gives you maybe 105, 110 quarts. You can put your base at 100, so you know what's come to shove, nothing, irrespective of what is happening. Your 15 kg of rice is giving you that 100 quarts, nothing is shaking it. Now the next step would be to pick aside the portion of spoon you'll be using. If you notice, most times at restaurants, when you go to the restaurant and you want to purchase, how do they measure? There's always a system in place to measure what they are selling out. It's not like you're going to use your initiative. Even if you are running a mama put, it does not matter. You're still using money to get to those raw materials. The rice you're spending on, the gas you're cooking is food. So if you're using just initiative, how are you going to measure it? It's not measurable, and in the long run it's not sustainable. So once you put that spoon in place, now you being around or not, everybody is aware that two portions. Okay, what is your benchmark for selling? Is it 200 naira? Is your rice started from 200 naira, 250? You need to be aware of this. So that means nobody is coming here to say they want to buy something of 100 naira and somebody is selling for them. No, you know, okay, is it one spoon, one portion of that spoon, that particular cooler, how many portion of spoon are you going to get from it? Then calculate it. If you are going to get 100 from it and one portion is 200, okay, 200 times 100, what does that mean? This amount, you put that down. Next is your stew. Of course, we already mentioned the abattoir. You already asked them to cut its number. 50 pieces is in a bag, so if they're bringing out a bag, they know 50 pieces is in there, so you know how much you purchased it. If you purchase it 150 each and you're selling at 250 or 200 or 300, now you're aware what is your difference. That's 150, whatever it is. You calculate 300 times 50 pieces. Now what this does is it curbs the excesses of your employees, it curbs yours also, and it also gives you clarity on what you are doing, what you are selling. You are able to calculate, am I making profit from this, or you're just doing community service? You are able to pinpoint that. Then you know how much they are supposed to be remitting per chance you are not around, because that is the point of structure. It is for it to continue working irrespective of if you are there or not. So you're not around, who are the people responsible for selling? What have you sold? You're supposed to be remitting this amount, but this is, you are remitting less. What is happening? Are you also able to pinpoint on what days do this cooler last, or does this meal last, or on what days are you supposed to cook more or reduce it? So this also reduces waste. Now you're chasing productivity and not just selling. You are not just selling, and then at the end of the day you can't even you can't see what you're making. You're not making anything. It's not amounting to anything, and you're not able to trace it. You don't know where it's coming from, and then you might end up just accusing employees that have been loyal, not knowing this is coming from you. So for structure to be in place, you need to put in the work that you need to first understand. Don't forget, we've not calculated things like gas and everything. If it's gas you're using, if it's firewood you're using, help you cook this amount of food. So those are the processes, those are the structures we are talking about. Irrespective of what business you are running, be it small business, be it startup, be it organization, be it industry, you need structure, and structure varies. Of course, the structure the mama put is putting in place is not the same structure somebody who is into fashion designing will be putting in place, but they all need that structure and system in place. So that being said, I hope this was enlightening and you are able to see that irrespective of what you're doing, be it services or anything, structure is important. You cannot bargain with that. It is extremely important. So you'd like to see what kind of structure works for your own business, you can just let me know in the comments and we'll be discussing that. Do have a lovely day.